I'm 92, and before time closes its gentle hand around me, I need to tell you something most people discover too late. Your body was never designed to fail. It was designed to respond. Your body is not something that is slowly falling apart with time. It is something that is constantly adjusting to how you treat it. Moment by moment, cell by cell. Every breath you take changes the chemistry of your blood. Every thought you think shifts the electrical signals in your brain. And every movement you make alters how your muscles and joints communicate with the rest of you. I have lived long enough to see people blame age for what was really the result of neglect, when in truth the human body is designed to survive, adapt, and even rebuild itself under the right conditions. Your organs do not wake up wanting to fail. They wake up waiting for instructions. And those instructions come from how you live, what you eat, how you rest, and how you respond to stress. When you move, even gently, your muscles release molecules that tell your immune system to calm down and your brain to stay alert. When you sleep deeply, your tissues repair microscopic damage that accumulated during the day. When you nourish yourself with real food, your cells receive the raw materials they need to keep their membranes flexible and their energy factories working. These are not small things. They are the fundamental signals that tell your biology whether it is safe to grow or necessary to shut down. I learned that people who believe their bodies are weak begin to live in fear, and fear creates tension, shallow breathing, poor sleep, and chronic inflammation. But when you trust that your body is capable, it responds with better circulation, steadier hormones, and stronger immunity. Even now, in my 90s, my heart still adapts when I walk, my lungs still expand when I breathe deeply, and my cells still repair when I give them the chance. Because the body was never meant to be a passive object, it was meant to be an intelligent, living system that grows in the direction of the care it receives. Inside every human body there is a quiet fire, a biological flame meant to protect and heal, and that flame is what science calls inflammation. When you cut your skin or catch an infection, inflammation rushes in like a skilled repair crew, bringing blood, immune cells, and nutrients to rebuild what was damaged. But when stress becomes constant, when sleep is shallow, when food is processed and empty, that fire never fully goes out, and instead of healing, it slowly begins to burn the body from the inside. I have watched people grow old not because of years, but because their tissues were living in a state of endless alarm, their immune systems locked in a silent battle that never truly ended. This chronic inflammation stiffens arteries, making the heart work harder to push blood through. It seeps into joints, turning smooth movement into pain and hesitation. It even reaches the brain, clouding memory and dulling emotional balance. What most people do not realize is that this fire is not inevitable. It is shaped by daily choices that either fan the flames or gently cool them. A walk in sunlight, a deep, slow breath, a meal filled with colorful plants, and a good night of sleep all send chemical signals that tell the immune system it is safe to relax. When the body feels safe, inflammation retreats, blood flows more easily, cells repair instead of defend, hormones regain their natural rhythm. I have felt this change in my own body, how stiffness softens, how energy returns, how the mind becomes clearer when that internal fire is no longer raging. Aging, in many ways, is simply the accumulation of unmanaged inflammation. And when you learn how to quiet it, you are not fighting time. You are restoring the environment your cells need to keep renewing themselves. Movement is one of the most overlooked forms of communication in the human body. Yet, it may be the most powerful language we have. Every time you take a step, stretch an arm, or shift your weight, Tiny sensors inside your muscles, joints, and skin send messages to your brain saying that life is happening, that balance is needed, that strength should be maintained. The brain responds by adjusting posture, releasing mood-lifting chemicals, and keeping your nervous system alert and coordinated. When movement disappears, that conversation fades, and the body begins to lose not just muscle, but confidence in its own stability. I have seen people who sat too long begin to feel fragile, not because they were broken, but because their nervous system stopped receiving the signals that keep it calibrated. Blood flow slows, joints dry out, and the brain grows less precise in its control of the body. But even gentle motion reverses this. Walking tells the heart to pump more efficiently. Stretching tells the connective tissues to stay elastic. Simple balance exercises remind the inner ear and brain how to keep you upright. These are not fitness tricks. They are biological instructions that keep your system synchronized. Your muscles also act like an endocrine organ, releasing molecules into the bloodstream that reduce inflammation and support the immune system when they contract. This means that moving your body literally changes the chemical environment of your blood in a way that protects your organs and your brain. I never tried to become stronger. I simply tried to keep the conversation going between my body and my mind. Even now, when I rise from a chair or walk across a room, I feel that dialogue still alive, guiding my balance, my breath, and my sense of being at home inside my own skin. What you place on your plate quietly shapes what happens inside your cells, because every bite is broken down into chemical messages that travel through your blood and speak directly to your tissues. When you eat colorful plants, their natural compounds reduce oxidative stress and calm inflammation, allowing your DNA to copy itself with fewer errors. Fiber becomes food for the bacteria in your gut, and those bacteria produce substances that influence your immune system, your mood, and even how well you sleep. I learned that digestion is not just about extracting calories, it is about extracting instructions for how the body should behave. Healthy fats rebuild the delicate membranes that surround your nerves and brain cells, allowing electrical signals to flow smoothly and thoughts to remain clear. Minerals and vitamins act like tiny tools that enzymes use to repair tissue and generate energy. When these tools are missing, the body struggles quietly, even if you feel full. I have watched people eat a lot and still starve at the cellular level because what they were consuming did not carry the information their biology needed to thrive. When you nourish yourself well, your blood becomes less inflammatory, your hormones more stable, and your immune system more discerning. The gut, often called a second brain, begins to produce calming neurotransmitters that reduce anxiety and support emotional balance. Over time, these subtle changes accumulate, shaping how you age, how you think, and how resilient you feel in the face of stress. I never chased perfection in my diet, only consistency, choosing foods that came from the earth rather than factories, and letting my body do what it was designed to do when given the right signals. Because eating is not an act of indulgence, it is a daily conversation with your future self. When you close your eyes at night, your body does not shut down. It begins some of its most important work. As you fall into deep sleep, your brain activates a cleaning system that washes away metabolic waste that builds up during the day, protecting memory and clarity. At the same time, your muscles release growth signals that repair tiny tears, and your immune system recalibrates, deciding what to fight and what to ignore. I learned long ago that missing sleep is not just feeling tired the next day, it is interrupting the most precise healing process the body has. Hormones that control appetite, stress, and blood sugar are reset while you sleep. And when that reset is incomplete, the entire system drifts out of balance. People begin to feel hungrier, more anxious, and more inflamed without knowing why. But rest brings rhythm back to the body, allowing the heart, the brain, and the metabolism to move in harmony again. Sleep is the time when the body remembers how to be itself. Yet there is another form of rest that is just as powerful, and that is human connection. When you feel seen, heard, and valued, your nervous system shifts out of survival mode. Stress hormones fall, blood pressure lowers, and the immune system becomes stronger. Loneliness, on the other hand, quietly weakens the body, increasing inflammation and making disease more likely. I have lived through decades of change. But what kept me steady was not just how I slept, it was how deeply I belonged. Conversations, laughter, shared meals, and gentle touch all send biological signals of safety. And safety is what allows the body to invest energy in repair instead of defense. In this way, sleep heals the cells, while connection heals the chemistry of the heart. And together they create the conditions for a long and quietly resilient life.